was a little girl, I grew up admiring the strong Black women in my family. They were change makers, barrier breakers, and just plain hard workers. I had one aunt who made history by becoming the first Black nurse in both of the hospitals in my hometown. My other aunt was the city's director of finance. Not too bad for two Black women in the late 1960s. They were truly extraordinary women, and they taught me that I could do anything, that anything was possible for me if I just worked hard enough. Now, the one thing that I rarely saw my aunts doing was resting. My aunts believed that once you made the bed in the morning, you didn't get back into it until bedtime. They also had rules about not lounging and laying around on the couches during the day. So what I learned from my aunts was this: hard work is important and rest is not an option. Nevertheless, I follow right in their footsteps. By the time I was 20 years old, I had started my own career as a public servant working in juvenile corrections. I showed up eager to prove myself, not just to my bosses, but secretly, I wanted to prove to myself that I could hold the legacy of excellence and hard work that my aunts had set before me. So I showed up early, I stayed late, I rarely said no to extra assignments and projects. I pushed myself to excel. And eventually, the hard work paid off. I became the director of youth programs. I was managing a multi-million-dollar grant. I was the head of a statewide initiative to help children make better choices around sex. I was very excited because to me, this was just another opportunity to excel and prove myself. I pushed myself hard, but this time I also had a team, so I was pushing them hard too. And it worked. Our program was recognized multiple times on the national level. But all of that pushing and overachieving paused in February of 2021. I was diagnosed with long COVID. And for me, my long COVID showed up as if I had a stroke on the left side of my body. I lost hearing in my left ear. I suffered with brain fog and debilitating exhaustion. Y'all, long COVID was brutal for me. I was forced to take time off from work, but the whole time I was recovering, this is crazy, I was pushing myself to heal faster so I could go back to work. See, long COVID was teaching me something about rest that I wasn't ready to hear. So eventually I went back to work because there was a big grant application due, and of course I thought I was the only one who could do it. The expectations, the caseloads, and the deadlines all remained the same, but I was different. For the first time in my life, I wasn't able to just push through. I wasn't able to tap into that brilliance. So I did the one thing that many of us Black women struggle with. I asked to be supported. I asked for help. And when I asked for help, the answer came back no. And not only did it come back no, it came back with a direct order. to take on another large project. I couldn't wrap my brain around what I was hearing. I immediately went into fight or flight. My vision got blurry, my ears were ringing, my heart felt like it was going to pound right out of my chest, and my hands began to shake. I managed to pull myself together long enough to fire off an email that said, "I will not be doing that project. You will have to find someone else to do it. I'm going to be taking the next 30 days off." During the time that I was off, I unplugged from all social media. I pretty much disconnected myself from the outside world. Because I was still recovering from long COVID, I slept and rested in my bed a lot. But I have to tell you that I was devastated, really. I thought that I meant something to that job. I thought I was valuable to my job. But my job showed me on that day that didn't mean anything other than a tool of production. After resting for a while, I booked myself for a retreat in the woods. And when I arrived to the retreat, something transformative happened at that retreat. For the first time in a long time, and maybe ever, I began to listen to my body. And I let other people take care of me. And then one day, while sitting in the circle with other women, tears streaming down my face, something shifted. I softened, and just for a moment, I began to believe that I was worthy of rest that I didn't earn. Black women listening to this message, our rest is urgent. Nobody is coming to save us. We must rest. If we don't, we burn out and we break down. We run the risk of heart disease and other chronic illnesses. We lose connection to ourselves, to each other, and to God. I am here to tell you that our rest is soft rebellion inside of a quiet revolution. We are fighting with our rest and resisting by taking our humanity back. Now, when I returned from the retreat, I didn't become the rested Black woman overnight. That happened bit by bit and breath by breath. I started by just doing a checking in with myself to see how I was doing and what did I need in that moment. I also grounded myself and I put my feet on the earth and took 3 deep breaths. I did those practices over and over and over and over again until my nervous system softened out of fight or flight. And then when I got really good at resting, it looked like me clocking out in the middle of the day to go and sit on my patio and let the sun shine on my face. And then finally, I had a 2 p.m. nap on my calendar for months. But I want to tell you all that rest does not need to be complicated. I want to leave with you that your rest can start with 1 breath, one pause, and one choice. I often think of my aunts and the legacy that they left for me, and I'm no longer overworking and burning myself out in their honor. I am now resting in their honor, and I'm inviting you to rest with me. Not because you've earned it, but because you are worthy. Yes. And this, through rest, is how we will save ourselves. Thank you.